Hello students, welcome back to our channel. Today we will learn something different, that is out of Mendelian inheritance, that is incomplete dominance and co-dominance, with the key points for NEET. So there are some exceptions to dominance. For example, incomplete dominance as well as co-dominance, or we can say that it is against the Mendelian law which was proposed, right? So we'll see today how the incomplete dominance is different from that of dominance which Mendel had explained about. The incomplete dominance was seen in the Antirrhinum, or we can say the snapdragon plants, as well as in the Mirabilis jalapa or 4 o'clock plant. So what was difference that was seen here is when these red flowers were crossed with white colored flower plant, it was amazing that was seen in F1 generation that they could get all pink colored flowers, completely different from what we had learned from Mendelian ratio. We can recall that F1 generation was similar to one of the parent, but in incomplete dominance we see that F1 generation doesn't resemble to any of the parent. So we'll work out with the help of Punnett square how we get the offsprings. When the cross is carried out between the red flower plant and with that of white flower plant, we see that the gametes, as usual, they get segregated. Okay, from red flower we'll get capital R in one gamete, capital R in the other gamete. And for the recessive one, white flower are the recessive one and red flower plants are the dominant one. So from the recessive plant we get small r in one gamete, again small r in the other gamete. So in F1 generation we see that all the plants that are obtained had pink colored flowers. So with the help of Punnett square we can work out and we get all these offsprings. Those are hybrid, heterozygous, but the color of the flowers is completely different from that of parent. So they don't resemble any of the parent. Later, when selfing was carried out between these pink flowers, there was completely different amazing result that was obtained. That is, once the gametes that are released from these pink flower plants, and when we prepare the Punnett square, we see that one plant or 1/4 of the plant are red colored flower are obtained. Half of the plants are with the pink flowers and 1/4 of the plants have white colored flowers. So that indicated phenotypic ratio as 1:2:1. We can see here there is one red flower, two pink flowers and one white flowers. So we have to remember here that the heterozygous in these plants show completely different phenotype or different flower color, whereas homozygous will be exactly similar to the parent, one of the dominant parent, and homozygous recessive will be to the other parent. Okay, that is white flower. What about the genotypic ratio? So genotypic ratio is also here 1:2:1, indicating one homozygous red, two heterozygous pink and one homozygous white. So we see here the phenotypic ratio is completely have got deviated from that of Mendelian ratio, which was 3:1, whereas here we see phenotypic ratio is 1:2:1, just because the heterozygous plants doesn't resemble to any of the parent. Okay, so how do we define incomplete dominance? It is the phenomenon where none of the contrasting factors or alleles is dominant. We have seen that the dominant factor doesn't dominate over the recessive one. So the expression of the trait of in the F1 generation or F1 offspring, though it is hybrid, it is the intermediate one. That means what? There is the mixing of the factors which has taken place, and that is the reason the flowers that were obtained in F1 generation doesn't resemble to any of the parent. So this red color is not completely dominated over the white flowers, and that is the reason there is the intermediate offspring which is been obtained here, and that is the pink flower. So we see the difference between incomplete dominance and dominance which was proposed by Mendel, that F1 generation do not resemble any of the parent, whereas in dominant or monohybrid cross of Mendel we had seen that F1 generation resembles to one of the parent. Another difference is incomplete dominance over the recessive one, because that's why we get the intermediate offspring in F1 generation because of incomplete dominance, whereas in dominance we see that one trait is completely dominant over the other, that what we call it as recessive. The third difference is phenotypic ratio as well as genotypic ratio is 1:2:1 in incomplete dominance, whereas in dominance we had seen the phenotypic ratio is 3:1 and genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. So we see in incomplete dominance the phenotypic as well as genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. It is only because the heterozygous plants do not resemble the dominant characteristic which is one of the parental trait. Okay, here the heterozygous plants are completely different from the parental one. So when we speak about concept of dominance, we know that every gene contains an information, and that information expresses a particular trait. So in diploid organism, we know that there are pair of genes or alleles are present for a particular trait, right? So these alleles can be identical or alike, or there may be some changes in these alleles. Now these changes may be due to mutation, and because of mutation it may lead or it may give some different modified structure in the allele. So they will have some modification in the information with respect to that particular trait. So it is not necessary that always these alleles will be very identical or alike to each other and same trait will be expressed. Okay, so there can be some changes due to mutation which will modify the information regarding that trait. For example, if we consider a gene, we'll take this gene of the allele, okay, which is responsible to release an enzyme, and that enzyme will show a particular trait. So we'll consider this part of the allele. Alleles are always in pair on the homologous chromosome. So this part of the allele or gene is meant for the production of enzyme which will give a particular trait. So these alleles are called as allelic forms. Why? Because there are two copies of these genes. They are located on a particular locus on the homologous chromosome. So they are paired always. So we call these pair of alleles as allelic forms because there are two copies. Okay. So if this allele is normal, that means there is no modification, there is no mutation which has occurred. So definitely it will produce a normal enzyme, and that normal enzyme will give a particular trait, right? But suppose the same allele okay, is modified due to mutation. So there will be some changes in one of the allele. So these allele will have three effects on that individual. For example, it may produce normal enzyme, okay. So if it is normal enzyme like unmodified allele, so it will produce a normal trait or normal enzyme which will give a particular trait, right. But suppose if it is, the allele is non-functional, that means what? It is, since it is modified, it is not giving an enzyme it is giving, but it is completely non-functional, or it is not producing any enzyme at all. In these two cases, what happens? It becomes difficult to predict that trait, whether it is observed or not. So what we see from this example, that the unmodified allele, since it is giving the normal enzyme and it will give a particular trait, is the dominant allele. Whereas the modified allele, because of some mutation, it is called as the recessive one. Why? Because it is not able to express itself properly. Since it can be normal enzyme, then it is okay. But if it is non-functional enzyme, or if it doesn't produce any enzyme, then it becomes very difficult to predict that trait. So the phenotype will only be dependent on the functioning of unmodified allele here. The unmodified allele is which one? Which is functioning allele. That means it can function properly, which represent the original phenotype. So that's why it is called as dominant one. Whereas the modified allele due to mutation will be called as recessive, just because it is not able to produce, or we are not able to predict that phenotype in the individual. The key points which we should remember here is the difference between incomplete dominance and dominance. Second is the problems based on the cross can be asked, okay. So it can be, we have to find out phenotypic or genotypic ratio, or the fractions, or the percentage. For example, in Snapdragon or Antirrhinum, we had seen that capital R crossed with small r. Like that, F1 and F2 generation which we had seen today. Likewise, these are the different crosses which can be asked. Similarly, for the other examples also, same type of questions could be asked. So we are supposed to solve these crosses, which will make us easy to understand how to find out these ratios, okay. Next is about codominance against the Mendel law, we can say, okay, which doesn't follow Mendelian rule. And this we can see in the blood groups. Now we know that in human population there are three types of blood groups, namely A, B and O blood group. And these blood groups are controlled by a gene called as I, okay. So this I stands for isoagglutinogen, that is the another term for antigen. So we should remember that the RBCs have certain antigens on their surface of the cell, okay. On the cell membrane there are certain antigens. There are different types of antigens. So these antigens can be sugar polymers or proteins. So the antigens that are present, which is representing the blood groups, is called as I gene, which is giving these antigens called as isoagglutinogen. So the gene I have three alleles here. Earlier we had discussed that there are only two alleles, right? But in the population we see that there are three alleles for I gene, mainly for blood groups. So it is IA, IB and small I. So here you can see that it is mentioned capital I A, capital IB, indicating that A and B blood group, this gene is the dominant one. whereas I, that is O blood group, is the recessive gene. Okay, so in the blood group AB are the dominant one and O blood group is the recessive one. So that's why we see that O blood group is very rare in the human population. So we see that the cell membranes of RBCs have some sugar polymers, okay, that protrude out from its surface, and this structure is controlled by a gene I, okay, that is a type of antigen. So that gene will show a particular antigen. So if you see here, both A blood group and B blood group have different kinds of sugar polymers. Okay, but in AB blood group we see both the kinds of sugar polymers are protruded out of the cell membrane of these RBCs, whereas the RBCs of O blood group do not have such sugar polymers. So we have to remember this. So though we see that there are 3 alleles, but in the population, human population, we see that there are 4 types of phenotypes which are seen. That is A blood group individual, B blood group individuals, AB blood group individuals, as well as O blood group individual. And O blood group is the recessive one, whereas AB blood groups are the dominant one. So since this AB blood group is the dominant one, definitely it will dominate over I gene or O blood group. Now we know that in the diploid animals or diploid humans, we see that there are there can be homozygous or heterozygous. So any 2 types of alleles will be present. Though in the population there are 3 types of alleles, but based on the combination of different alleles, there can be 6 combination which we can see in the population. Okay, so it can be capital IA, homozygous, or it can be capital IA, small I, that is heterozygous. But the individual are called as, they will have A blood group. Why? Because I is recessive one. We should remember that. Similarly, the person who is having B blood group can be either homozygous IB, or it can be heterozygous IB small I. Okay. But in AB blood group, we see that only IA, IB individuals will be present. There cannot be any small I here. Okay, no recessive gene which can be seen in these individuals. Similarly, in O blood group, we will see that there are 2 factors, that is small I. Okay, so we see that there are 6 genotype or combination of 6 genotype which we will see in the population, but phenotypes will be 4 types and there are 3 alleles. So since the alleles in the population, okay, in the population, not in individual, in an individual there cannot be 3 alleles, there can be any 2 alleles, allelic combination. But in the population, if we want to study, these alleles are more than 2. So therefore it is also called as multiple alleles. So it is more than 2 alternative forms of a gene, I gene, present on same locus. Okay. So what do we mean by codominance then? So when both the alleles in the heterozygotes express themselves. Now, in order to discuss or understand this statement, we will take an example of blood groups in some individuals. Say for an example, a person is having A blood group and this person is heterozygous crossed with the person having B blood group, okay, but that is also heterozygous. So we have to write down parents as capital IA, small I, since it is heterozygous A blood group, crossed with capital IB, small I, heterozygous B blood group. So definitely we know how the gametes are formed. One of the allele will be present in one allele, one gamete, right? So similarly we will get these haploid gametes here. Okay. Now when we prepare the Punnett square and assign these gametes in the column, top column or the left hand side of the row, what are the offsprings that are obtained here? We will see there are 4 different types of offsprings that are seen in this family. That is, one person is having AB blood group, one person is having A blood group. As we know that capital I is dominant, so and A is dominant, so definitely it will indicate A blood group. Small I is recessive one. Another is having B blood group, and the fourth individual is having O blood group. Why this O blood group has arisen here? Because there are the recessive genes in the both the parents. But if you consider AB blood group, so we can take this as an example for codominance, wherein the offspring is identical or resembling to both the parents. One parent is having A blood group, another one is having B blood group. So therefore, these individuals having AB blood group is the resembling to both the parents here. Another example which we can take, that is homozygous male parent having B blood group. So there will be IB crossed with heterozygous female having A blood group. So definitely it will be IA, small I. So when we find the offspring, we will see again that in the offsprings there is AB blood group. Okay, half number of offsprings are having AB blood group and half number of offsprings are having B blood group. So again here AB is resembling to both the parents here. Again another third type of cross if we take, wherein homozygous male or female having A blood group is crossed with heterozygous B blood group, male or female. What answer will get the offspring? It will be half the number of offsprings will be having AB blood group and half the number of offsprings will be having A blood group. Similar type, only thing here the dominant one or the homozygous A blood group is taken here. Okay. So same result we will get. Only thing here we will get half the number of offsprings will have A blood group. So ultimately what we see here, that AB blood group are the one of the example for codominance. Okay, A and B individuals are meant for codominance, to show codominance. That means it resembles both the parents in the heterozygous conditions or in this condition what we have seen. Okay. So what difference which we get here? Okay. See, when two flowers are crossed, red and white flower, we get pink flowers indicating incomplete dominance. Why? Because it is not complete. Red flowers are not completely dominant over the recessive one or white flowers. So that's why it is intermediate color which is obtained here. So we can call it as incomplete dominance. Whereas same example if we take for codominance, we can see both the colors are observed in these person or in these plants. Okay, wherein they are resembling to both the parents. So we can say that codominance, it may be in any individual, it is resembling to both the parents here. So we see here in codominance in heterozygous individual, that means individual who is having A as well as B allele. Okay, both the allele contribute to the phenotype. Whereas in incomplete dominance, phenotypically individual is intermediate, okay, to the two alleles. So even though if it is dissimilar factors that are present, but still it is showing intermediate color. Okay. Then in codominance we see here that progeny resembles the to the both the parents here. whereas in incomplete dominance it doesn't resemble any of the parent phenotypically. So here there is no mixing of the two alleles which is happening here. There is no mixing as such. Okay, it is only expressing both the parents. So that's why we can say there is no mixing of the alleles. Whereas in incomplete dominance we see there is the mixing, fine mixture of the alleles which takes place, and that's why the offsprings that are formed are completely different. So the person who is having type AB blood group is the universal recipient. So it can take the blood from A person having the person who is having A blood group, or the person who is having B blood group, or the person who is having O blood group. Just because that on the surface of the RBCs there are both type of antigens are present for A as well as B, and O blood group it can take because O blood group do not have such antigens or sugar polymers, right? Whereas O blood group is the universal donor, okay, and if it require the person who is having O blood group and this person requires the blood, it can take only from O blood group and not from A as well as B. Why? Because O blood group will have the antibodies against A as well as B, though it doesn't have the antigens. Okay, we should remember that. So there are some genes, okay, wherein a gene will have more than one effect on a phenotype. Here one example which has been taken, wherein the starch synthesis in P, say that it is because of gene B. Okay, so we know that B gene or the allele are always in pair, so it will be one we'll consider as capital B, another one as small b. Suppose if it is homozygous, capital B will have different effects, okay, on the phenotype. So here the P's will be round, they will be effective in starch synthesis, very effective, and they will produce large starch grains. So these are the effects if the individual or the plants are homozygous, okay, homozygous dominant for this gene. Now if suppose the plant is homozygous recessive for the same gene, then or for the same characteristic, so the effects here will be the seeds will be wrinkled, less starch synthesis will take place, as well as the starch grains will be small. But what about if the plant is heterozygous, capital B, small b? Now here the change what we see in these plants, that they will produce round seeds. Since capital B is dominant, they will produce round seeds, but their intermediate starch grains will be produced. That means what? It is not resembling to any of the parent, if we can say. So that means it is not resembling to capital B, or it is not resembling to small b with respect to starch grains. So here this B, okay, is considered as, which is showing incomplete dominance. So this gene B is showing incomplete dominance if there is no other homozygous allele is present. Okay, its own same type if it is not present, the same gene will show incomplete dominance. So that is about how more than one effect of a gene which will be seen in the phenotype. So now we'll move on to key points. So we should know the difference between codominance and incomplete dominance, and these are the various problems which can be asked for NEET as well as for the board exams. So try to solve all these problems, the crosses which I have mentioned here. No other crosses can be asked beyond this. Okay, so all these crosses you all are supposed to solve. It will be very easy to understand. Okay, thank you so much.